As a geologist and as a scientist in general, getting out into the field and doing field work is very important for two reasons personally. Number one, for me, it hones in your skills as a scientist, being able to put down what you read and have learned in a classroom and see it in the real world, because everything is not as it is in a textbook. Number two, it's important to go out into the field and get real world experimental data that will back up a hypothesis that you have made over just viewing a site. We're going to have a look into one outcrop that I visited in South Africa and just kind of see what it's like going through an outcrop from top to bottom and side to side. I mean, we wake up.
Good morning.
Get going pretty early. Morning. So you like to say you kind of like to mess around with some of my peers and colleagues. We're gonna sit down and talk basically about what we're gonna go over through the day. Grab our lunch, grab some water. It's important to stay hydrated. You're gonna be out in the sun all day.
Are you cans?
Then basically it's into a van where we're going to sit very night while we drive to our first geological outcrop.
So it's about 45 minutes.
Right here what I'm doing is I'm writing down coordinates and taking directions, because it's very important to get the exact location of
what are you breaking?
Your geological outcrop or your site.
Enjoy. You must. What do y'all make of this?
And what I like to do is I like to start from the bottom, the basal layer of any outcrop, and work my way up and over. I look at small details to begin with, so I identify minerals inside of a rock and see how these minerals are changing and what the relative abundance and percentage of these minerals are from bottom layer to middle layer to top layer, and whether they change and whether the type of rock changes. And then we point out key features inside the rock, like what we're doing right here. Shannon and I are having a discussion whether these features right here are xenolith textures or shear textures.
Shear stress.
So whether or not it's an inclusion of another rock or minerals, or it's a texture resultant from some major force.
Oh yeah, there's definitely olivine in that. Look at that.
It's always important
That's
that you
so weird.
bring a rock hammer with you and you break off pieces of the outcrop,
Just took this whole thing.
because a lot of the surfaces tend to be very weathered, which change the overall appearance of the rocks and the minerals and make it really difficult for you to identify particular features within the rock or key minerals within the rock. So you always want to break off a clean surface to look at. So now here we're higher up on the surface on the outcrop. We've gone up about 2 layers, and we're analyzing the upper, middle to top layer at this point.
Ridiculous.
So like I said, what I like to do is I like to go from bottom to top and then over and down and look at all the small details, and then I like to take a step back and look at the
it might be
big picture.
metamorphic.
So major.
Then we might be in a metamorphic.
features.
No, I think so. Have you guys only been over
Yeah, we only.
Because it's on that
Oh
side,
yeah.
too.
Yo. I don't see it
So now what we're doing
coming
here is
back
looking at
down anywhere.
the big picture from across the
these
road
being
cut.
intruding,
These two were once
pushing
joined,
back,
they just cut it in
squeezing
half for the road. So the opposite side actually mirrors what's going on on the side that we're standing
could these have come
on. So Shannon and I are discussing
scrunchy thing?
the angle in which these different layers of rocks
if we're gonna call it a fold.
are embedded within each other. Whether one is an intrusion or
Alright, so we got
it's
clays on top.
turned out
That's
that
the contact.
it was a xenolith, but whether or not we thought that the bottom layer was pushing up on it and causing it to metamorphose, or whether that it was
And the
laid down flat and then later the entire
see
thing
that?
was deformed as one entity.
Yeah.
Here is very key.
That'd be cool.
He said it's a very key texture feature.
With all that information, I developed my own hypothesis of what I think could be going on, what geological process created this particular outcrop or site, and then I go back and look for evidence of that process. My name is Evan Blackburn, and this was a day in the life of a geologist.